Hi dear students, in last class we have discussed about what are the principles of management. In that we have discussed the scientific management, principles of scientific management, which is to be introduced by F.W. Taylor. So, on the basis of scientific management, some of the techniques today are going to study. When the F.W. Taylor has to be introduced, that how the scientific management plays a very important role, what are the principles are to be used in business organization, and there are some of the techniques of scientific management. So, when you are going to use the principles, when you are going to apply the principles, when you are going to follow the principles in the business organization, it gives effective work or effective what we can say, effective profitability activities which are to be done in business organization. While following the principles, you can easily move toward the business organization. Okay. So, here some of the techniques of scientific management are there. So, which are those? First one, that is functional foremanship, standardization and simplification of work, method study, motion study, time study, fatigue study and differential price wage system. So, these are the important 7 techniques of scientific management. So, let us see how these techniques are to be used. What are the benefits when you are going to use the techniques of scientific management. So, here first one, that is functional foremanship. So, functional foremanship, when the scientific management, principles of scientific management, in that first principle we have studied about the rule of thumb. Okay. So, let us see how the functional foremanship says. Foremanship is nothing but, we all know that in every business organizations there are mainly 3 levels are there. One, that is top level management, middle level management and low level management. So, when top level management, whatever the activities or whatever the work is to be assigned, that should be assigned to the manager as well as worker. Okay. Worker, we already discussed that manager is nothing but he is a mediator of top level management and low level management. So, here low level management is nothing but who are doing the work as a laborers, means here we can say as a workers who are working in a low level management. So, here workers are nothing but, there are number of workers will be there in every business organization. So, when they are going to do the work, who are going to assign the work? Managers or supervisors will going to assign the work. While assigning the work, all workers, if they are going to do the proper work, they are to be proper work is to be done by the workers only when a person is taking the initiation among these workers. So, that person who is taking the initiation of a group of workers, that we can call as a foreman. That person we call as a foreman, means who is having the leadership quality among these workers, that a single person is called as the foreman. That person will take the initiation and he will give the guidelines to the remaining workers how to do the work. We can call as a leader of that workers group. That person is called as the foreman. Understood? There will be a 3 levels of management: top level management, middle level management and low level management. As per the scientific management, when you are going to consider the low level management, there will be the workers who are going to do the work. Among them, among that workers, there will be a person who is having the capability or who is having the leadership quality, that will take the initiation. That person who will be give the guidelines to the remaining workers, that workman is called as a foreman. Okay. So, when you are going to consider the first technique, that is functional foremanship, when the worker is going to take the work, so how this workman is going to plan, or when he is going to do the in charge, taking the in charge of 2 categories, one is planning and another one is production. So, here we can say with the help of this chart we can understand how the functional foremanship is, this technique is to be used on the basis of scientific management. So, first, that is a functional foremanship technique is to be used. On the basis of this chart we can easily understand. Okay. See here, this is the low level management, how the workman is going to do, or we can say as a foremanship. Okay. Here we can say workman who will taking the initiation from the workers. Among the workers, that person is called as an foreman. Okay. So here on this there will be a two in charge. This person is taking the in charge of two categories, that is first one planning in charge and production in charge. When he is going to able the planning in charge, when the foreman is taking the using the techniques of planning. So in that there are mainly four in charge are there. First one, that is instruction clerk, route clerk, time and cost clerk, then disciplinary. When you are going to think about the plan before implementing the activities or before doing the production or before doing any activities in the business organization, you have to do the plan. So when you are going to think about the planning in charge, he is to be concentrated first instruction clerk. When a foreman is taking the in charge, he is to be planned, he has to be instruct the remaining workers, how which man who has to do the work, how he has to do the work, that is to be instructed by the foreman to the remaining workers. That is the first planning card we can say. Okay, first in charge is what? Instruct the workers how to do the work, what he has to do, how he has to do, when he has to do, that is to be instructed by the foreman to the remaining workers. That is the first planning in charge. So next one, that is route clerk. The name itself indicates route is nothing but he has to give the guidelines. For example, we can say there will be the number of machines when I am going to make the production. In first machine, what he has to do, after finishing the first process, next step what he has to do. If we can say here, first you have to do with the first machine, after completion of this you have to move to the second machine. He has to be give the route lines or guidelines to the workers. After completion of the second, he has to move towards the third machine. Okay, if this process is to be completed, after that will be finish, there will be the ready of finished goods. After goods are to be finished, then how he is to be sold, that we have to give the route line, that we can say as a route clerk. Okay, first you have to give the instructions, after that you have to give the guidelines, you have to show the way how they have to move from first step to last step. After giving the route line, then next you are going to plan about the time and cost clerk. Here time and cost clerk, here it says you have to see about or you have to study about the time, in how much time you are going to do the production, how much time is to be consumed for number of products, how many number of products are to be produced, that you have to study about the time. And cost is nothing but when you are going to produce the products, how much cost is to be incurred, that you have to be studied. Okay, this is the planning when you are going to implement in the activities. Next, that is disciplinary. When these three steps are to be completed, these planning in charge are to be completed, then you have to go to the disciplinary. Means you have to be complete that planning process, that we can say as a disciplinary. With a disciplined manner, with a systematic manner, you are going to do the plan, that you have to first instruct the workers by with the help of foreman. When you are going to using the scientific management, means with the help of scientific process only you are going to do the instructions. After providing the instructions, you have to give the guidelines or a route ways, how the step by step you are going to move towards the production. After giving the guidelines of route line, then you are going to study about the or plan about the time and cost. How much time is to be consumed and how much cost is to be incurred while doing the production, that you have to be studied, that you have to be make the plan. After that you have to be disciplinary, means planning in charge. Next process, that is disciplinary. After completing the instruction, guidelines or any time or cost clerk, then you have to be study about the disciplinary, whether this process is to be completed or not in a systematic way. This is about what? Planning in charge, which is to be done by the foreman. This is one of the function. Okay, next, that is the second in charge, that is production in charge. When you are going to complete the planning process, then you are going to move towards the production. So here we can say in production in charge there are mainly four are there. One is speed boss, gang boss, repair boss and inspector. So here there are mainly four are there. First one, that is speed boss. Speed boss is nothing but when completion of the planning you are going to make the production process, whether it is in a speed way or not. Means when order is to be assigned, when order is to be came to make the production, In that moment only the production process is to be moved towards in a fast way. Means speed boss is nothing but the number of quality products is to be produced in a limited time. How the process is to be assigned, means how the production is to be made in a limited time. Okay, good quality products is to be made, how the speed process is to be done, that you have to make in a production charge. In charge, next that is a gang boss. Gang, you have heard this new word. Gang boss is nothing but while making the production, whether the machineries are ready or not to make the production, that you have to study. Means gang boss is nothing but whatever the machineries, whatever the items you are going to use while making the production, whether that materials are ready or not, that you have to study. Whether the machineries are ready or not. All the machineries, here we have took 3 machines. Okay, if they are having any problems with these machines or not, that you have to study with the help of gang boss. After studying about the machines, if there is having any machinery problem, then you are going to make the repairs, that we can say as a repair boss. In gang boss, you are going to study about all the machines, whether they are working or not, whether they are in a good condition or not, that you have to be studied in the gang boss. If there is any problem with any machine, that is to be repairs, means we can say that will be repair boss. Okay, these are the 3 production in charge. And last one, that is inspector. Inspector is nothing but once we are confirmed that machines are already good and they are going in a working process. So after process is to be continued, when the production is to be continued, then while doing the in a process, in a production way or after production, you have to be inspect whether the product is good quality product are to be produced or not, that you have to be inspector is to be study about the quality of the products, whether there will be problems are to be arised or not, whether there will be completed or not, whatever the task is to be assigned, whether that is completed or not, that is to be supervised by the inspector. So this is about the production in charge. With the help of workers, or we can say as a foremanship, is taking the in charge of planning and production. So when he is completed the in charge process, then we can say it is one of the technique of scientific management which is more helpful in business organization, that we can say as a functional foremanship. There are foremanship functions are 2 are there. One is planning in charge and production in charge. So in planning in charge, you have to be give the instructions, guidelines or route lines. Then we can give the time and cost clerk. You have to study about this. We have to plan about this to reduce the cost incurred which is to be necessary, and you have to be disciplinary. So with the completion of planning, then you are going to move with the production in charge. Production in charge means you have to be study about the speed boss, means you have to increase the number of quantities, number of goods are to be increased to make the production. Then gang boss, whether the machines are correct or not, we have to be studied. If there is any problem, then you have to repair the machineries. After repairing the machineries, you are going to move towards the production. Then when you are going to do the productions, why that you have to be supervisor, that we can say as a inspector. So this is what we are going to say that foremanship functions. Okay, this is the first technique in scientific management. Okay, so next one, that is standardization and simplification of work. So when you are going to make the production in business organization, so whether, for example, we can say standardization and simplification, there will be a simple meaning, that we can say, if organization is going to produce a television, we are going to take as a production of television. Okay, here when a television is to be produced by a business, there will be a different size of televisions will be there. There will be a differentiation of sizes, because same size, only one size TV will be not produced in business organization. For example, we can say as a 20-inch, 24, or it may be 32. Okay, these are the sizes when the TV is to be produced or introduced. So here this TV is having these size of inches. Okay, here we can say this is a simplification. Why? Because there is no possibility to produce 20.1, 20.2, 20.3, this is not a good way, or this is not a correct way to make the production. So whatever the production is to be made, it should be in a simplification, that we can say as a simplification of work. It should be in a correct manner, that we can say simplification. And standardization is nothing but when the simplification is to be made, there will be a good quality of materials are to be produced, that we can say as a standard. Means you have to maintain a standard quality of product, that is called as the standardization. Okay, simplification is nothing but whatever the production you are going to do, whatever the goods are to be produced, that should be in a perfect way, that should be in a simplification, that everybody can use in a easy way, and it is very easy that you are going to make the production also. Okay, so simplification, size and quality is to be depended. The standardization is nothing but you have to maintain the standard way, you have to maintain the good quality materials which are to be produced, that we can say in that we have to use the techniques of scientific management. So standardization and simplification of work is also very important. Okay, this is the second technique of scientific management. Next one, that is method study. Method study, the name itself indicates, method is nothing but whatever the methods you are going to use in a production, that should be in a suitable manner and a efficient work is to be done. The methods which are used in a production or in a whatever in every department, whatever the methodology you are going to use, it should be in a technically of scientific management. So whatever the principles of scientific management are there, on that basis only you are going to use some of the methods, that methods must be in a systematic way. Okay, so we can say method study. Okay, next, that is motion study. Motion study, whatever the methods you are going to use, on that basis only we are saying that motion studies also plays a very important role. And time study, time, whatever the time you are going to use, how much time is to be you consumed, or time, on the basis of time only you are going to make the production in time. If the order is to be assigned, some of the orders are to be came to your business, on that time only you are going to reach the products to the customers. Time maintenance is also very important in business organization, so we can say as a time study. Then fatigue study. Fatigue study is nothing but for example, here we can say fatigue study in every business organizations, if the worker is doing work with a restless, then that person will not do work after sometimes. Means a person, whatever, or a worker needs some rest. So if you are going to provide some rest for the worker, then your work will be get in a perfection. Means they will recharge their stamina when they will get the rest. A worker, if they are going to get the rest, then that person will recharge their stamina and they can be capable to do the work in a good manner. So fatigue study is nothing but you have to study about the workers rest, means you have to think about the workers stamina or workers physical presence, whether they are suitable or not, whether they are capable to work or not, that you have to study. Okay, so we can say here fatigue study means you have to think about the workers physical problems. So when you are going to study about the workers mentality, then easily they can move towards the effective work, they can present their performance in a good way. So if you have to think about this, we can say fatigue is nothing but thinking about the persons. Okay, so fatigue study is one of the technique of scientific management. Then last one, that is differentiation price wage system. So here we can say we have to think about, we have to make the differentiation of price wage. So whatever the wages you are going to provide for the workers, that is to be differentiated for efficient workers and inefficient workers. Here there are two members will be there, or two workers will be there in every business organization, efficient workers and inefficient workers. There will be two workers in business organization. So on that basis you have to be differentiate between efficient workers and inefficient workers. As per their work you have to give the wages. So this is also one of the technique of scientific management. So these are the 7 important techniques of scientific management. So first one, that is for functional foremanship, standardization and simplification of work, method study, motion study, time study, fatigue study and differential price wage systems. So this plays a very important role. So already we have studied about the principles of scientific management, that is to be made by F.W. Taylor, and these principles, there are mainly 4 scientific principles are there, and then we can also call as a father of scientific management, that is F.W. Taylor, and on that basis only these techniques of scientific management are to be framed. So there are mainly 4 techniques are there which plays a very important role in every business organization. Okay. In next class we are going to move with the next principle of management. Thank you.